In news from Jamaica, a dangerous move. That's the view of some of the country's top attorneys concerning the government's decision to amend the Bail Act to prevent persons charged with murder from receiving bail. The lawyers are warning politicians not to interfere with judicial matters. Karen Lowe has the details.
A government obviously desperately searching for solutions to stem the scourge of violence rocking Jamaica. But the legal community isn't seeing eye to eye with the government's latest crime tactics. Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced on Tuesday during his budget contribution in Gordon House that the government will be moving to amend the Bail Act to prohibit persons charged with murder from being eligible for bail under certain circumstances. However, prominent attorney at law Peter Champagny isn't supporting the move. Mr. Champagny argues that denying someone bail violates their constitutional right. Instead, he's urging the government to improve the prosecutorial arm of the state to ensure criminals are caught.
If one seeks to amend the Bail Act just so, then it would do violence to the Constitution of Jamaica, particularly Section 13 of the Constitution relating to fundamental rights and freedom, which guarantees a citizen's freedom, liberty. So it is not as simple as that. And the final thing I'd wish to point out is that in that proposal is the assumption or the premise that persons on bail are the persons that reoffend or are responsible for the high crime rate. In my opinion, there is no empirical data to suggest that that is in fact so. And I honestly believe that the resources should be best utilized in improving the prosecutorial arm of the state, that is to say the police, better resources, more resources being employed to the police and to the prosecution to ensure that when persons commit offenses, they are caught and that they recognize at the outset that if they commit an offense, the likelihood of being caught is a real one, and that in and of itself would be a deterrent.
Mr. Champagny says the Prime Minister's announcement was simply a knee-jerk reaction to the spike in crime the country is experiencing. But he says, as seen in the past, such policies won't work.
You have quite a number of persons on remand who have not been offered bail for various reasons. And the number is alarming, and that has not caused a decline in the crime rate, or it has not acted as a deterrent. You see, the point I'm trying to make is that every time there is an increase in the murder rate, a sudden jump in it, there is a knee-jerk reaction by the powers that be to implement legislation that do not work. They tried it in 2010 with the 6 crime bills, and it has not improved the situation. The focus must be on resources being employed to improve the police investigative skills and the manner in which crimes are investigated and in which cases are brought before the court. The fact of the matter is that cases are won based on poor investigation, and I'm not even blaming the police per se, but because they have limited resources, you find that the acquittal rate is high.
Noted criminal defense attorney Valerie Nita Robertson says the Charter of Rights would be compromised if the government goes ahead with its proposal to amend the Bail Act. She's warning the JLP administration not to meddle with judicial matters.
Every citizen of this country must feel that when they go before a court, they are treated fairly. Guilty or innocent, they are treated fairly. If they are guilty, then they must serve the appropriate sentence. So, I mean, it's not everybody that is charged is guilty. So why would you deprive somebody of bail? Can we find some other way of reducing crime? Like, for example, think of this. The investigations by the police are not always good because they don't have the legal background and experience. Don't you think those lawyers who are graduating from law school who don't have any job, don't you think the police force could employ some of them to assist in reviewing cases? There are lots of stuff we can do to cut down crime and violence, and we are not attacking the issue in a broad way. We are only trying to be oppressive and dictatorial.
Under the law, anyone charged with any offense has a constitutional right to bail. However, it is left to the judge's discretion to make that determination. Mr. Champagne says the government should mess with that practice. Meanwhile, attorney Nita Robertson says if the government is serious about tackling crime, there are several strategies they have been ignoring.
The trend to fetter the judge's discretion in terms of bail, and one has to understand that in our democracy there is a serious distinction and division between the judiciary and other arms of government, and when you do that, you are interfering with the judge's discretion, and that can't be allowed to continue or to deteriorate to the point where the lines are blurred.
We need to get technologically advanced. There are bundles or anchor bundles that can be put on persons given bail, and we can select the ones we think it's appropriate for, so they can be monitored. You're going to keep everybody in custody. Are you going to build new prisons? What are the conditions you're keeping them under? Who do they intermingle with? They intermingle with other persons in there who are hardened criminals, who influence them. And most of the time they come out worse than they went in. And what about rehabilitation? Why can't we rehabilitate in a progressive manner the people who are serving sentences so that when they come out they can be of use to the society?
Carrie Ann Lowe for CEEN Caribbean News.